Hello everyone and welcome back to the stream. My name's Henry and today we are starting on day 670 of this survival world. And would you believe it? We haven't died once yet. But now, before I get really into it, let me just see if everything is working fine on the stream. My OBS is showing that we are streaming, and if I quickly YouTube, get that open, and chat is up. I don't know, since yesterday the YouTube studio isn't showing the stream, but if I go to my channel in YouTube, it is actually showing the stream. So, I don't know. Hello! Long time! It's been over a year now! Didn't you used to watch my streams last year when I was streaming? But I'm so glad to see you back, even if you've just been watching the last few days that I've been streaming. I'm glad to see you. Anybody's welcome, always. And today we are going to work on a little bit of redstone at the skeleton spawner. If you just give me 1 second to... I just want to, on a different screen, open the stream. Because, I don't know, the YouTube studio is sort of giving me a hard time since yesterday. I don't know if the whole Microsoft outage had anything to do with it, but it is what it is. So while you're in the stream, could you just let me know, is the audio good, the background music not too loud, all the basics. I usually don't change too much settings between streams, but you know how technology is sometimes. Now, I have gathered a few things, placed them there where we are working at the skeleton spawner over there, but I need a few more things because I don't think I've got everything that I need, because I'm going to need some kelp and soul sand as well for water streams, and I might just as well take a stack of ice with me, and this iron can also come along. I'm not going to need a dispenser. I might need a few pots, so let's take a few bricks as well. And that should be it. I think I should have everything that I'm going to need for the first phase of the project anyway. And then I need to, seriously, at some point, I need to come and build a proper bridge and build a proper path to the skeleton spawner, because I think we're going to be running up and down here a lot. Well, especially when I need bone blocks, that is. But let's get going and see how far we can get with the redstone today. Oh, how do I say your name? Suleiman? You know what, Nay? Names is definitely not my strong suit. But I do remember your comment, yes. Yeah, that, you know what, that is an interesting mod, and I I'm keen to maybe get back into doing the mod reviews. I've been speaking to the creator of that mod, Fuzz. So he released quite a few new mods over the past week or two, and there's quite a couple of interesting ones that I do think I want to try out. But now I've been thinking lately, or yesterday, I was streaming on Twitch. And I was just trying out one of his mods, the Mutant Monsters mod. I don't know if you've seen the video on my channel. I did upload it to YouTube as well. So Twitch link is the same as YouTube, at HenryUMC. I'll maybe, I don't know, I don't know if I can post links in here. It's is it something like twitch.tv at look, I will update my profile on YouTube with the Twitch link. Then you can just follow it from there. I haven't streamed much in the last year, so I'm just starting back up this week with streaming. And yesterday was my very first Twitch stream. And it was, well, I had fun. I think at one point I had 4 viewers. Chat was a little bit more active than here on YouTube. But honestly speaking, I don't mind people just lurking in the chat. If you want to chat, you're welcome. I enjoy having somebody to talk to, having a conversation. But it's not, I'm doing this for your enjoyment, because I'm going to play Minecraft anyway, so whether I'm streaming or not, I'll still be playing it, so I might as well stream and allow you guys to get a little glimpse into everything I do on a stream. I think I just want to remove the helmet. It's when I'm talking to you, I don't want to have my head covered now. I don't think that's very polite, is it? Anyway, let's see. I wanted to do this, and I think, I don't know, what do you think? I can just as well switch on the spawner while I'm working here. I mean, start getting a few resources. Or maybe... You know what? Yes, I feel I've got a very good general knowledge. So like discussing different things on different days, sort of thing. Keeping things interesting. It's always fun. But now I need to open up some space back here. I don't want to risk messing up this redstone, so let me just maybe cover it up for now. I don't need to get in there again because the lights are working. Yeah, you know, I can keep it, but this side, the inside part, is pretty much done. I'm not going to need to go in here again, so I can actually just do that, let them come down here. But my problem with doing that is that I'm going to want to keep coming back here to finish them off, and that's just going to mean the rest of the building is going to take a bit longer, and don't really want to do that. Okay, let me start digging out here. I've been thinking this here at the back. I want to put a little bit of the redstone sorting and use a few redstone, or not redstone, crafters here to craft the bones into bone blocks. And then I want to set up a sorter to split the bones and the arrows. And then we can have all the rest of the stuff drop into a barrel on this side. So I did bring all the redstone things I think that I'm going to need. I do have what I need to make a crafter and everything. So let me just check if I can start digging out that area there. I think I'm currently playing on version 1.21.8. Yes, 121.8. Reason for that is just that some of the mods I use, and I'm not using a lot of mods, but some of the mods I use is not updated to 1.21.10 yet. So as soon as those update, I'll be switching this world to 1.21.10. But I did the other day, I had to go to the nether, and I did find dried ghast, so I can get a happy ghast at some point. But I think I need to just finish one project at a time, otherwise I'm going to never finish anything, if you know what I'm saying. So how far do I need to... I always misjudge myself with the item filters. They always seem to take up more space than I expect them to. But how did that work? You mean burning skeletons to... burning arrows to kill the skeletons. So did the skeletons that was burning ignite the rest of the skeletons that fell into the farm? Because that sounds like an interesting idea to me. It's something that I might try myself at some point. I do have... my bow does have flame. Is that what you're talking about? So I could always try something like that at some point. But the thing is, I want to kill them off using my sword, because I've got looting on the sword. That just helps me get a little bit more resources, a little bit more bones. Which is why I have the sweeping edge sword and everything. I need to figure out... let me just... I'm just going to build a sorter down here after I take a nap, because I was talking last night. I don't know if you've been in the stream last night. I was talking a lot about this 10-minute cycle of Minecraft. 10-minute days are just not good enough to get anything done in Minecraft. So let's just see. I just want to build a sample of the sorter, just to see quickly how much space I need for it. So I think it's something like this, and one here. This one needs to be removed. Then I need a comparator this side. Redstone. Then I need a hopper there, and hopper down here. Just do this. I forgot the... No. Oh. Just put a redstone torch in there. Okay, so if I've got this right, that should stay in there, and if I dump... Let's just do this for a test. Did I do this? Okay, there we go. So that should go down to 41, right? Cool. Okay. So this is working. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks deep. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then for good measure just go another 2 in. Okay, so wait, if you turn them into strays, I can farm slowness arrows, so that's then, instead of normal arrows, you get slowness arrows, and the rest of the loot is the same, so the armor and the bones and all that is the same, right? Do I understand that correctly? So, but if you use the powdered snow, are they still going to, because I dropped them round about, what is it, 20 blocks down to damage them so that they can be one-hit kills, are they still going to take the same amount of damage with the powdered snow? Yeah, you see, that's there's always something, isn't there? But I'm sure you can figure out a way to still do something where they do take full damage. I should look into that. I know where another skeleton spawner is in this world. Actually closer to my base than this one. I've just picked this one because it's so close to the surface. The other one is a little bit further down underground, which is why I chose this one for this project. But I do have another one that I know of close by, so maybe I'll try and figure something out with the slowness. I think that could be an interesting second project once I'm done with this thing. But to be honest, I've got a project board with 8 or 9 projects on for the second 500 days on this world, and I think I've only finished one of the projects on that project board so far, and we're like 130 days into the second 500 days. Do you know how long they take to turn into strays? because it might be possible to drop them, put a few powdered snow blocks and drop them through the powdered snow, and then when they get out underneath the powdered snow, drop them far enough to still give them the fall damage. You're going to just, I think in that case, have to build your column where you want them to drop down a little bit higher. I mean, with however many layers of powdered snow they need to go through before they turn, that's the amount of blocks you're going to make the chute higher. But it's an interesting idea. I think it could work. Mrs. Rhino, welcome to the stream. Lovely to see you here tonight, as usual. Okay, so I think this depth will be enough for the automatic sorters. Now the next issue I've got, the next 15 blocks, so then you're gonna have to build that chute up by 15 seconds. And how many seconds did it take to go through one? But I mean, you know what? You can just put, because they're definitely going to take at least a second per layer, I think. So you can just go another 15 layers up, put 15 layers of powdered snow, and see if that works out. And that is an interesting idea. But then I think you can also use the same idea to turn zombies into drowned. But I don't know, does drowns give you any other loot than normal zombies? Because if you converted the zombies to drowned, they're definitely not going to drop tridents now, are they? Oh, yes, they'll drop copper. That could be a nice way to get copper. Those are interesting ideas. That's something that I will have to maybe investigate a little bit further at some point. But now you've given me an interesting... Well, whenever I get bored with any of my current projects, I guess I can do that, experiment with that. Or otherwise, if you're playing at some point looking for something to do, you can always experiment and come and tell me what you found. Okay, now I need to decide, because the automatic filter takes up 4 layers. So if I put 4 layers in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that only gives me 1 or 2 extra. So I'm going to have to go a little bit higher up here. Now I don't know how high the ceiling is, but maybe go up another 5 layers, I think. Let's just see. I don't know what I did with my clock. I used to have a clock so that I can know when it's night time. Now let's maybe just put a staircase up. Yeah, get rid of the gravel. So I've been collecting all the gravel. I've got an idea what I want to do in the village there close to spawn. Now I'm going to probably need a lot of concrete for that, different colors of concrete. So I've just been, whenever I find gravel, I've just been collecting it to be able to do that at a later stage as well. Let's see. So this is 1, 2, 3. So I think if I finish digging out this space, that should be enough space for the redstone that I'm going to need. Because now one of my redstone filters is going to need to go into a crafting setup so that I can get the bones turned into bone blocks. And just drop off. An inventory is such a pain. Keep having to come and clear my inventory. That makes a lot of sense. I thought you might be able to do something like that. Using a water stream with the powdered snow touching the skeleton's head to turn them into strays, then drop them. So I would assume the water stream wouldn't need to be that long either, because the powdered snow on their heads is going to slow down the progress that they make through the water stream, I would assume. Let's see now if I can finish digging this out so that we can nuclear physics. That's not going to... You know what? I know a lot about a lot of things. But nuclear physics is one of those subjects where I think I can honestly and without any shame admit that I know absolutely nothing about nuclear physics. That would be a new subject for me, and I don't think I've got the time or mental capacity to really get into nuclear physics. I guess one thing I know about nuclear physics is if you mess it up, it makes a big boom. But I mean, if you just started high school this year and you know about nuclear physics, what's your plans? What do you want to do when you're done with school? I mean, if that's not too personal of a question to ask, but I'm always interested in career paths, and if you're interested in nuclear physics, I think you must be pretty smart. Don't think at high school age I've had any interest in, well, to be honest, let me tell you this about myself in high school. I did take science, and if you want to do anything with nuclear physics, I would assume you're going to have to be pretty good in science. And, well, let's just say I failed science miserably. So much so that the teacher told me that she thinks I should rather take a different subject and save myself the embarrassment of failing that miserably. But an English teacher, you know what? I think, where do you live? You said your name is Arab. What? You've got an Arab name. So, do you live in an Arab country or Turkish country? Because then, being an English teacher, I think would be a very um, good sort of profession to go in. I think because English is such a universal language. I mean, I know there's probably English, if I'm right, is not the most spoken language in the world. But I think when it comes to international business relations, English is really up there. It's one of the more important or most used languages. So becoming an English teacher, that sounds like a really good career choice. There we go. I think this is going to be high enough for what I need to do. So what is the time right now in Turkey? I mean, I'm in South Africa and we are just about 8:30, 8:30 in the evening right now. I I did enjoy geography in school, but my current knowledge of the world map and time zones, I think Google is making my mind lazy because I would usually just look it up. And so I think I have so much useless information in my head. So you're about an hour ahead of us. So that's awesome. That means you can probably catch more of my streams. Well, I don't want to keep you away from sleep. I mean, if you're in high school, you should be. Do, does your school year also start in January, or does it start in um? Does your school year start in the middle of the year, or also in January, like we do? The birthday of Turkey yesterday. That's interesting to know. And tell me, how is life in Turkey? I mean, I mean, when you look at international news, you always see a lot of news from, well, I think at the moment America and Europe is taking over all the news with everything that's going on there politically. And I'm not, please don't get me wrong, I'm not qualified to talk politics, so I'd rather not get into that. But if I'm asking you how is life, how is things, how is it living in Turkey, I'm talking about general things, more like normal living circumstances, living conditions. As I know, a lot of the world has a big problem with poverty and all that. I want to say currently, but I don't really think it's only currently. It's always been that way. So this space that I've got here is going to be up to this corner. Then I need to see how far this side. I'm not going to have any sorters on this side, so I don't need to go too far. But let's see, if this is here, we're going to, let me go maybe another three blocks deep on this side. That would, I think, be sufficient space. I'm glad to know it's a very peaceful country. I mean, there's so much war and just not even, let's stay away from war, but there's so much unrest all over the world. It's nice to hear about somewhere that it's actually very peaceful. So Turkey, tell me, is it lots of, is it like a, how is the climate there? Is it very dry? Is it lush and green? When I think of Turkey, I always think of desert and sandy hills or sandy dunes and those things. I think, as I said, my current knowledge on the world map is pretty useless, if I could use that word. When I'm asking about climate, how do you get a lot of rain? Is it very dry? Temperature wise, is it a hot country? I can't imagine Turkey being a cold, like a snowy or icy country. Anyway. So let's see, when I put a dropper in, I want the dropper to come and shoot the items up here. So it will be on that level, so cover this with glass. Then it needs to go up here. So let's just put a little marker so that I can see how far I need to dig in. And then back to the 10-minute cycle of Minecraft day and night. No, I mean, tell me, what is the 3 climates you've got? Is it how big of a country is it that you've got that many different climates? Because usually, like, you will obviously have climate shifts. I mean, over here, when you're going towards the coast, you have a little bit more, I would say, warmer, wetter sort of climates with more humidity in the air. And then going more inland, you get a little bit of drier climates. You know what I'll do? As you've got me interested now. So when I'm done with the stream, or maybe when I've got a little bit of free time at some point, I'll read up about Turkey a little bit. I know, don't you guys have really nice coffee? I think I've somewhere in my mind I associate um, Turkey with nice coffee. And to be honest, I do like myself a nice cup of coffee. I always say I'm kind of a coffee snob. Can't drink these. Well, I do drink like freeze-dried coffee, maybe like Nescafe or Jacobs. That's what I'll have when I just want to have a quick cup of coffee. But I enjoy grinding beans and just brewing my own cup of coffee. And yes, like I say, a little tidbit, I enjoy a good cup of coffee. Not much of a tea drinker though. I enjoy a nice cup of tea at its time, but generally my drink of choice is either just plain cold water or a nice cup of strong coffee. You know, a lot of the times I do take sugar in my coffee, but not too sweet. But actually I have no problems with bitter coffee. I think a good cup of coffee needs to be, number one, strong, and number two, I think the bitter taste of coffee is what draws me into it. I mean, just that shock, a little bit of shock of that bitterness of coffee, I think that does draw me in. I think that's the... Oh, where are we? This is the chute where the skeletons drop through. So for me to get to where I want to, if I want to bring this drops over here in the way I want to, I'm going to have to go a little bit around this area. And now I'm actually digging up much more of this area than I need to. But who knows, I could maybe use it for storage or something. Maybe just light it up and close it up and forget about it. It's also an option. Maybe Maybe I should just open it up for now. I can always come and back in and close it off. I think the way you guys make it, just plain coffee beans and water, I think that is the way coffee is supposed to be enjoyed. I mean, no, you know, nothing against the Americans, but them using creamer, and those creamers that they use are so sweet. But then a lot of them will swear by it. That's the way you should have coffee, and I don't think I agree totally with that way either. There we go. So this is where the dropper system is going to be pushing the items up. And then I need to figure out how and where I'm going to put the water stream. Alright, so I think this is enough of an area for what I want to do. Now I can just maybe take this down. So I can make a staircase this side. Just light it up. Yes, but the way that you make the coffee, do you put the ground coffee beans into a kettle or something and then brew it? How exactly? Because the way we would do it is just we will grind, or the way I do it, the way that I've been taught, is you grind your coffee beans and you pour hot water over it and just let it brew for a few minutes. Obviously, the longer you brew it, the stronger it gets. So, like I said, I like my coffee nice and strong. But do you have a different way of brewing the coffee to get that foam? Because the way I do it, I don't get the foam. And honestly speaking, if you're talking about the foam or the froth, yes, I've seen videos of that process where you have that little, it's a very small kettle, right? It's a very small container where they put it in the hot sand to brew the coffee. And that way, I think that's how you get the nice foam. Looks like magic, yes. I think in the videos it does look like magic. I don't know, I've never considered it, but I think maybe if I were to travel, Turkey might be one of the places that I would like to visit one day. But anyway, at the moment in life, don't think there's much traveling in the foreseeable future anyway. Yes, it's true what you're saying. It does look like the coffee is duplicating. So, do you, um, so you put the coffee into the little kettle first, right? And then you add water. And the heat of the sand basically, does it like boil the water almost immediately? Because in the videos that I've seen, they keep adding water and adding water because it looks like the coffee is just, like you say, duplicating itself all the time. Okay, now I need to see if I can get the sorters in here right at the top. First things first, I need to just clear my inventory again because inventory is always a mess. But I think what I'm going to do, because I was just thinking of something that I'm going to need. I'm going to need something that I can rename for the filter. So before I go up and build the item filters, let's just go and have a little travel back to the base. But that's actually, when you're talking about coffee just being for special occasions, because if you drink it like 24/7, it loses its uniqueness. Isn't that true with basically anything that you enjoy in life? I mean, if you enjoy, I don't know, any sort of, let's say food, any specific type of food that you enjoy, if you have it every day 24/7, you're going to get tired and it's going to lose its uniqueness. If you have it every day, you have it all the time. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my base quickly. Have you seen the base so far, or the area that I've been building so far? I don't know whether you've seen it, but whether you did or not, I'm going to be showing you anyway. So I need to go and find something that I can use to just fill up those sorters. And I definitely don't want to go out there with carrots. So here we are at home base. Haven't built too much, but this over here is my crop storage system, and the villagers just keep harvesting crops and it gets transported to this tower system where I've got about storage space for roughly about 20,000 of each of the crops. And these guys are just hard at work, harvesting everything that I could need. We've got wheat, potatoes, carrots, beetroot. And down here, I've got the normal pumpkin and melon farms. And these things are, I mean, if we look at, which is the pumpkins? Pumpkins I've got a whole boatload of. And if we come down here, this is just the dropper system where everything gets dropped off so that it could be gathered and collected in the storage silo. Okay, I understand what you mean. But still then, okay, so I understand the concept you're telling me about the coffee and the uniqueness. But then what sort of drink do you drink on a daily basis? What's the go-to drink when you wake up in the morning? Tea. And just earlier I was telling you that I'm not much of a tea drinker. I do like a good cup of tea every now and then. But I think to me, I need to be really in the mood for tea to enjoy a cup. So do you have any special blend of tea that you enjoy, or is it what? There's so many different types of tea out there, like green tea, black tea, and all that. Is there any special sort of tea that you enjoy? Let me just clear my inventory. So as you can see, stone, I'm probably never going to need stone again. And black tea, that if I'm right, black tea does contain caffeine, right? So you still get the same sort of boost from drinking black tea than you would get from coffee, I would assume. Let's just see, do I still have poppies? Okay. Well, let me be different and I'll just rename a few emeralds, because what will I name them? How about I name these emeralds after you? That way you can help me make sure that my sorters, item filters are working properly. How about that? And using emeralds, look, I'm using the experience from trading with the villagers to just repair my tools and armor and things. So emeralds, I will always have plenty of them. So let me quickly see. I guess I can take these out and get my scaffolding ready. Yeah, you're going to be not stuffed in a sorter. You'll be take it like this. You will forever be part of this world. And that's a good thing, isn't it? You'll be forever part of this world, helping me achieve my goals. Yes, I think that's the way we should look at it. Okay, let's see. So this side, I'm going to have the arrows. So this side, I can just put it right in line. So how many blocks did I say? It's one. So that one needs to be 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3. Then like that. Two, 3. What do I do here now? Okay, so that is correct. That seems to be the way it needs to be. You know what? I've only been experimenting with redstone over the last couple of months, so some of these redstone contraptions I still need to keep referring to notes in order to build them. What's the difference between surnames and last names? You know, I think in the Western world, it's pretty much it's pretty much the same thing, I think. I don't really think there's a difference. I think depending on culture, like personally, you've got a first name, you've got a middle name, and you've got a last name, and the last name is just always referred to as a surname. I think in America they talk more about last names, where us in South Africa we use the term surnames. I don't know Europe, I don't know whether they use last name or surname, but I think pretty much last name and surname, from what I know about it, and I might be wrong. I'm not necessarily the best person to ask, but from what I know, um, surnames and last names are pretty much the same thing. I don't know. Anybody else in the chat who wants to give us their opinion on the difference between last names and surnames? Because surnames pass from the father to the mother and the kids. So what's last names do? Look, I think it's an interesting conversation you can get into, but I honestly think well, my opinion is that it's the same thing. I don't really know what the history is of it. Obviously, it's true what you say. When you get married as a husband, your wife will take on the husband's surname, so that's passing the surname from the husband to the wife. And then obviously the kids will have the same surname. And look, I think where surnames initiated, or where it initially comes from, is like, I think it was something to do with what the family was doing. So, or the surname indicated something interesting or something related to the family that the surname initiated from or started off from. Sorry man, I'm just having a drink of water. My throat is a little bit dry from talking this much. Okay, then the item sorter for the bone blocks. I guess I can just put it here. So 1, 2, 3. Take out this one. Then do that. And break this one. And this one. Okay. So yes, that makes sense. If the surname means rising and your father's side of the family is tall, that's why. But tell me, how many generations back does that surname go? I mean, obviously, a surname, I think, is usually something that gets passed through generations. So how far back does the surname go? I know I did a little bit of research on my surname a while back, I was able to trace it back to, well, to Europe. I'm from European descent. Ow! No! What? No, no, no. You don't do that. That's not very polite. You want to come visit my space? You're welcome, but none of that. Now I was almost trying to eat one of you. Okay, so you say it goes back about 4 generations. So, looking back at it, did your family have a different surname? Have you ever looked into that? Because if you're talking about 4 generations, how long is that? Maybe like 150, 200 years? Which isn't a very old surname. Now I know parts of the world haven't had surnames for that long. In my surname I can trace back to about 1,200 years, I think. I think it's about 1,200 years that I can trace my surname back, but it did evolve over time. There was a few, as time went on, there was a few different spellings of my surname. Now, why did I come back here? I was coming back here to get something. Now I simply can't remember what I came back here for. I was working on the item filter. I came back here for something and now I can't remember. Oh well. If I do remember, I'll just have to come back again, I guess. Okay, when Ottoman fell and the Republic of Turkey was created, so that's about 102 years. You know what? So I do enjoy reading like fiction, but historical fiction. And I've read quite a few novels where people was in Turkey around about the time of the fall of Ottoman. And it seems, I find history is quite an interesting subject to me. I do enjoy reading up on history. Listen, can you quickly tell me, how is the music in the background? For some reason it feels a little bit loud in my headphones. So I just want to know if I should turn down the volume of the music a little bit, or should I just turn down my headphones volume. I was looking for Redstone, then maybe get the repeaters and get the comparators. So I can just set up the redstone filters quickly. Let me just double check something. So this I need to place from the back. Okay. So I need to Okay, the savior of Turkey, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Surname was given to him by the country. Atatürk means Turk's ancestor. Turk means his family at least goes back to one generation of living in Turkey. Mrs. Rhino, you're still in the stream. I love it. I love having people, even if you're just out there lurking in the stream, not joining in the chat. You are most welcome. And I just love having people around, enjoying these streams. So, I think I can break this sample down now. I think that will work. Clean up this area a little bit. Get my hoppers and maybe get a barrel. Okay, my friend, you must have a lovely evening further. I hope to catch you again next time. And it was lovely having a chat. Man, really, I do enjoy. I think that's one of the things why I started streaming again. Just having these chats with people in the stream. It always turns out to be interesting. And that's what it's all about. So thank you very much. You must have a lovely evening further. And I hope you can catch me again sometime. I'm not sure whether I'm going to be streaming on YouTube tomorrow evening or on Twitch. I was thinking that maybe I'm going to do a little bit of something on Twitch tomorrow evening. I do want to explore that mutant monsters mod even further, but I will still decide. So now I guess it's time to set up the rest of these filters so that we can start figuring out how the water stream is going to bring the items over. Boom. Boom. Get the redstone torches in before I miss that again. Then we can this and this, and that's it. That's the item hoppers sorted out. Then I need to get my barrels in, and another hopper, and that should be perfect. Okay, so now the next part of the build would be to build the water stream that's going to take the items from this side all the way to the filters, and then so the items will come up here. Then I'll probably have to divert them to come over here, and then pass over the hoppers on that side. Maybe I should. So, I mean, I could. Okay, but the water line is going to have to come this way, then go all the way there, and then I'm going to need it to come back to this area right here. So I'm going to need to just clear out a little bit of space on this side, and this should be good. So I need to have a barrel in here that's going to grab items. So I think this is far enough. If I do this, let it come down right here, that should be good enough. So let's just go back up and see how that will work out. So this is where the items are going to be dropped off. So, in other words, I'm thinking the water stream will have to come from here all the way up to the roof, but it's probably going to I guess I'm going to have to go another layer up. So guys, I will come, and once I figured out exactly how this needs to work, I'll come back and just make it look a little prettier. So right here, so I'm going to have another row of hoppers, because let's say we bring the water in right here. So if the water stream goes up, yeah, let's just run staircase up. Yeah. So the water stream will have to be one layer up. So this is where the water stream is going to have to go. Okay, so that's where the water stream will go. And then when we get to this side, because this is going to be a hopper line, I'm just going to build out then the hopper needs to drop in here. Alright, so I think what I need to do first is get the to take this opaline up there so that we've got a point of reference to work from. But maybe I don't need to. Let's see if we can just do a little something different there. If we make pots, and we can use the pots to transfer the items down. So we're going to have the water stream. Let me just close up this area. Let me do that as the water stream will run here. And then it will get into a hopper line. So if we clear this up so the hopper line can come back this way. So guys, what I'm trying to do quickly is just to see because the hopper line will run on this level. And then it needs to drop down. Where does it need to drop down? Needs to drop down right here. So is it on that block where it needs to drop down? So if it drops down on that block, let's do this quickly. Just get a pot in there with a hopper going directly into the pot. Then the hoppers will need to come around here. So I'm going to have to make a whole bunch of hoppers just so that they can feed into one another. So let me go and quickly grab those. Chests and iron. Let's just clear a few things from the inventory and make a few hoppers. Now 8 is definitely not going to cut it. I'm going to need more. So 21, that might be a little bit better, but it's definitely not going to be enough yet, I think. But let's just go, because I want to see, I'm just trying to work out how this will go. So if we do that, and then bring this line all the way over here, there, like so. And then just to save on some hoppers, let's say we do that. Let's just do that quickly. So, then I'm going to need another hopper. Let's just temporarily put one here. So when the water stream comes and drop everything in here. It should go all the way around, and I can take that out, and that should end up in here. So anything that's not being filtered by the automated filter system will just end up here, which is exactly perfectly what I want to happen. So now we can start bringing this down. So for this part here, oops, I want to do this. I think we can do another one there, and then we'll start with double chests, which I obviously don't have any more because I used them all to make hoppers. But that's not a problem. We can just go and use a little bit of the spruce wood. I think I've got plenty of spruce wood, and we can make more chests. Okay, so then we can start putting double chests in, and a double chest, and a double chest. Yeah, then this hopper is going to be not needed anymore. How am I going to do this to get maximum number of chests in here? Because I do want an open space here. The reason being, let's just go and craft another comparator. What do I need? Redstone comparator, okay. And then I need this to make a redstone lamp. Okay, so what I want to do here is, just because I would like to have a little bit of an indication as to how full the system is. So I'm thinking if we have a redstone lamp here, and we have a, let's just see, do this, and then if we have a hopper going into that chest, okay, but let's not, for testing purposes, let's not have the hopper go into that chest. Let's have the hopper just go into that sand dirt block, and we have a comparator right here. So this comparator is going to measure the contents of this hopper. So once there's something in the hopper, I think one, yes, so the moment something goes into that hopper, this light will go on. Now let's quickly just see if we look this side. So we've got the barrel, then we've got 1, 2, 3 spaces. Alright, that's good. And that Minecraft 10-minute cycle is not good. Let's just have a little bit of a sleep. And then go and review my options again. So I think we should be able to have another redstone piece. So that's a barrel empty. There's the redstone showing me how full it is. And that's a full block, so I can, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the 5th one. Okay, 2, 3, 4, so the 5th one is going to have to be there. And that is alright, because we're not going to see any other sides. We'll only be able to see the bottom, so that will sorry, excuse me. So this one will be maybe we'll put another block here. Yeah, and yeah. So now I don't have another comparator. Alright, so let's see if this is going to work. So if I have another comparator here measuring the contents of this chest, and we just put a piece of redstone there, so that should light up the redstone. But does it power? Yes. So that is going to work out pretty good. But then I'm thinking, can we not? Let's just open this space as well, because I'm thinking, because we want to be able to tell how full the system is. So if we measure, can we measure, use the comparator to measure if there's anything in there? Okay, we can. All right. So that's going to be even better. That's going to be better because then we don't need this. We can do a redstone line coming down here, and will it be able to I'm going to need more items in there. Let's see. Can we Alright, so this is going to work. So we will detect how full this is for this top light to go on. So when the top light goes on, we will know our system is pretty much close to being clogged. And that makes a lot more sense. Okay, now let's see if I can go and get a little few more hoppers so that we can at least get the overflow system sorted. But before I do that, let's just empty this pot, so now that light should be off. And maybe, well, let me go and grab a few more hoppers before we get into that, because now I guess we can make planks, make chests, get some more iron. And now my wood is finished, and I didn't want to use Do I have any other wood? Other than this, I don't want to use the stripped oak because that's for the roof. Okay, so it would seem that I'm going to just need to pop back to the base and grab some more wood, which will not take ages, but I didn't really plan on having to do that. But anyway, that's the way this world goes, is that I keep having to go up and down, up and down. However, it doesn't matter how well I try to prepare for whatever I want to do. It seems that I always get stuck with missing resources and then having to go up and down back to the base. But that's not a problem. Let's just grab. But I think let me grab 3 stacks of logs. That should definitely be more than enough. Then do that. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. I'm so close to having this little part of the system done. And I do need to get going. And I'm probably going to end the stream as soon as I've got this little storage module done. I'm going to take that out. I can break this one. So let's just see. So the chests, I would want them to go in there. Let's just see if that will work out. Let's just break more walls here. Okay, so let's, and you see I'm overexcited and then I do things like this. We have space there and we have space there. Let's take this, should be enough. So then we're going to have a double chest here, and we'll have a dropper going into that double chest. Then if we just open up a little bit of space, then from that double chest we'll go into this one, which is good. Then we can have the double chests here, because this hopper we can get to go in there. So that's going in there. Then we can have another hopper going in here. Then we have another double chest like so, and we have another hopper going in there. Then we will measure how full this hopper is. So let's just, for another test, let the hopper go into the torch over there. Then we'll have our comparator here, so that if anything goes into this hopper, this light lights up. So that's perfect. So then this hopper go into that chest, and then we'll have another hopper going into this chest. Then this chest will feed the barrel over there. Okay, so let's go and throw something into... So basically the hopper line is then sorted now, so if anything gets dropped into this hopper that's not being sorted, let's just for now throw an arrow in there. It should pass all the way along here, go into the pots, go into the hoppers, and then my arrow should end up right here. That's perfect. Perfect. Okay, so let's just go and set up those two filters, and then we can so I'm going to need bones, so then what did I say? We're gonna put the arrows in the furthest one. So where's this hopper? Coming out here. And this one is coming out in the middle here. So we're going to put the arrows in this one. So we're simply going to put the arrows in here, because that's going to be pretty much a straight drop down to where the storage system for the arrows will be. And then this one will have the bones. So they are now both powered and ready for action. So we can just do this and see, do we have any more bones? Only these two. So let's do this quickly as a test. Going to see if this sorting system is working. So we've got this one with the arrows. It's got 41 arrows, and then let's just just empty the arrows out so that we can see that they do get filtered through. Then this one, obviously we don't have enough bones to fully test that side of it, but let's just we'll put the bones and the arrows in here and see if they are being filtered. So the bones are definitely coming in here. That's good. Then the arrows are definitely coming through here into the barrel, and then we can put, let's do that. Then we can put this armor and this bow in here, and those should pass right through the system to the barrel there at the bottom. And we can just confirm that. Exactly what I need. That's perfect. Guys, so I want to thank you for joining me in this stream. I'm going to end it here, but let me quickly just clear my inventory. And that was a mistake. How's this chest? Okay, so let's clear the inventory. Put everything away, because I'm already 5 minutes over time. But we've made good progress today, I think. And now I'm concerned whether this is actually at the right spot. We'll see. That shouldn't be too difficult to move if I have to move it. But I don't think it will need to be moved. I think that's going to be perfect where it is. Alright everyone, so as I am making my way back to my starter base, or my base, just call it a base, not a starter base. As I make my way back, I'm not going to... I know I've made a habit of repairing my tools at the end of every stream, but I've already gone 5 minutes over my time. And so I'm not going to spend the extra time repairing my tools right now. I might just do it before I start the next stream, or maybe I'll come into the world doing a few other things and I'll just repair it then. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching, for joining me on this little adventure, and I hope to see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day further, and I will catch you in the next one.